Yo, this is Chris from RudeLies, and today I'm gonna show you how we made our track Cashflow. So this track consists of 3 projects, one for the drop, one for the breakdown, and one for the master. So the reason we did this way was because the drop took quite a lot of CPU power. So we decided to make another project for the breakdown. So we made a bounce of the drop and imported it into the breakdown. And the same with the break. And it is because we wanted to have a reference while working on each project. So let's go through the individual sounds. This is the whole bass of the track, all the low frequencies. So there's a kick, a big room kick to be exact, and 2 toms, one smaller and one bigger. And because we wanted to make a room for those toms, we cut the kick right before the toms so they wouldn't interfere. And what do I mean by interfere? Yeah, this is this. This is this sound. You can clearly see it's muddy, or you can hear it. Then there's 2 claps. This a more sustained one. And this is more transient-ish sound. So both, they build a good clap. Then there's hi-hats. There's a few closed hi-hats and a few open hi-hats. Then there's this percussive sound with a lot of reverb. Well, it's not a lot of reverb, but just a bit. But it's quite wide, and yeah, it really stands out when you put it in the context of the track. Then there's the drop. In the first drop, we used 2 sounds, and these are these. The main sound you hear is this one, and it's kind of building a minor triad. So there's one oscillator +7 up and +3 up. If we wanted to build a major triad, we could do that too. Yeah, this would sound if it was like major. But in this song, we use the minor triad. Yeah, then we had some processing. We just boosted the highs a lot because this sound was quite dull while it was not EQ'd. Yeah, you can hear it. Then there's this sound. It's kinda filthy, and it has this wall filler that makes it quite wowy. Yeah, this is the sound by itself. And when you add the wall filter, it really adds something to the sound, like a little flavor. This would sound if it would be 100% wet. And we didn't want that, so we just backed it up to 50% or 25%, I don't really know. Then we used these 2 EQs, which were essential to get this sound sounding tamed and not to have that much harmonics, as you can see in the second EQ. We went in and we searched for these EQ spots to take down. Yeah, there's quite a difference here. At least I think that. Then we had some supporting layers in both drops. This is how they sound. There's this one. Yeah, just a normal trance plug. This is how it sounds by itself. We just took down all the flows and reduced a bit of the transients because we thought it had a little too much attack. So we just backed off the attack a little bit. Okay, over to the next sound. This is kind of a deep house bass. Yeah, this is kind of Melbourne bass, but we just use it like playing the same melody. Yeah, I like this one. It's kind of Syrian bass, kind of 80s old school vibe. Then we had these fills that were playing on the first beat of every bar. Or almost. This is the first layer. And that's the second. Like this is the more acidy one. You get the acidy feel, but you think it's this sound. So it sounds like this. Then there's quite a lot of fills, which make the track kind of flow together. Because if there weren't those fills, it would like sound quite played. Like you don't get hyped before the drop. Yeah, so these are few of the fills that are here. A reverse reverb of the drop sounds. Then there's two snares that are both reversed and the kick. Like an old school one. Then there's this really funny swingy snare. Kind of a kick down and noise up. Then there's this silent sound that helps to support this part. And then there's this vocal shot that's pretty important because if it wasn't there, it would not sound as hyped. And if you add it, it really gets it hyped. Yeah, then there's a few other fills, like this one. Yeah, that's like a cutted up fill from Vengeance that has, yeah, it sounds like a real snare fill. Then there's also these reverse reverbs that are going all through the song that really help the track to flow together. And I really recommend you that if you want, you can just take all the sounds, record them, and then just pick the coolest parts. Then you can make reverse reverbs out of those and fill in the parts. Because here, there's not so many things playing at the same time because there's a lot of space between these notes. So what we did, we filled out these spaces. Yeah, there's just a few rises in the drop. And I added a few of these reverse reverbs to complement the riser. Yeah, that's about it for the drop. Oh, I forgot one thing. There's another sound we used in the second drop that wasn't the sound I showed you before. Although we used it after 16 bars in the second drop. And the sound we used in the second drop sounds like this. It's kind of a deep house bass. Just, it's a bit distorted and has a bit of reverb. Yeah, I can't say more about the drop. So, this is the break project. We started off the intro with this sound. You can't hear it now because it's filtering up. And this is the sound that kinda hits first when you hits the breakdown. Then, while this sound's playing, there's also this plug coming in. And this plug consists of 4 sounds. One silent, another silent. This is a bit crushed. A high one. And this is like a solo sound, just one, it's playing just one note. Then there's this guitar. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But then, in the first breakdown, and in the second build up, there's this sound. Yeah, so this is that sound. So this is like a massive bass. It's actually not a bass, it's kind of super saw that we added EQ just to tame it. It's kind of random to do it. You just first do a low cut and then you just take down low frequencies. And we wanted to let the highs through, we just didn't want to cut everything. So that's that. Then going over the second breakdown, we have some violins. And some cellos. Then we have this freaky sound. We made it massive. It's kind of funny. It's one of my most favorite sounds of the track. Then we have these reverse plugs that are not reversed first, but there's one plug coming in. And then it's reversing into the second plug each time. Then there's a lot of reverb. We could have pushed that sound, but we decided that we will put it more in the background. Then we had this really cool bass guitar. Yeah, and we had this guitar that was kind of cool. It has a lot of movement because we wanted it to have this live guitarist feel. Yeah, that was that. And then of course we had a lot of effects. In the build-up, we use quite a lot of effects, maybe more than this, but in this case, we didn't have to use more. Yeah, that's that. Then we had some build-up snares. One that goes straight, and one that goes a little bit swingy. This one also pitches up. Yeah. So that's that. And then also we had this clap that was playing here. And then right before the drop, like for the last 4 bars, except the last bar. We had this kick playing that came in. And it pitched up. Not pitched up, but it filtered up. Then there's not so much difference between the first and the second break, except that we added this sound to come up. Yeah, that's about it for all the sounds of the break. So, I will show you how we made a bit of the master. So, as I said before, we exported both the break and the drop sounds. And what we did was we could cut where we didn't want the reverb to continue, here and here, or we wanted whole silence, like you can see here. Now, that's what happens there. Then about what plugins we used. First off, I can bypass all the plugins. We use the L1 just to get rid of a little bit of the dynamics. Then we use the C4 both to just compress a little bit and then to color the track. We boosted the highs by 2.7 decibels. You can now hear the heavy coloring we did in the track while we made it. Here I think we compressed it a bit. Then we made it a little bit wider. You can't hear in this video because it's mono. But then with the equalizer we rolled off at 30 Hz and at about 18K. And then we boosted a little bit of highs. Then at the stereo imaging, as I said before, we always make sure that most of the low end is in mono. So we rolled off at 236 Hz. We sometimes just get this value a little bit higher, but in this case we decided it was somewhere here. And then we boosted a bit of the high frequencies, and then almost always we use the RC3 to boost the most of the track. Yeah. Then there is a saturation knob. Just saturates it a bit. Sausage fattener, it limits it. Then we used a mix tool to boost it a little bit, because we thought we could get this a little bit even louder, so we clipped it a little bit. But that was on a purpose. It's not like we're noobs or anything. We just we boosted a little bit, and it sounded good in the end. And the most important thing is that it sounds good at end, even if it clips. So it doesn't matter if it clips or not. Only don't let it clip like 10 dB, because then it's guaranteed your sound will be sounding shit. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching this tutorial and see you next time. Bye.